Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, I'm 4mo pregnant and my MIL is overbearing. She stole his first Father's Day. I cancelled my baby shower that MIL was organizing. MIL asked to send photos of my son to a stanger. MIL chose cigarettes over having her grandson visit her home. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I'm 4mo pregnant and my MIL is overbearing. So this is my first baby and I'm 4mo pregnant. My husband is an only child and his mother is being way over the top to the point I think she feels she's having a baby. I get she is excited, but I recently discovered she has a whole room decorated for the baby, Moses basket, baby clothes, ones which I wouldn't buy myself. She said she is changing the furniture to baby-proof the house, etc. I recently asked her to stop buying baby stuff because as it's my first baby, I want to be the one who picks out their first outfits, colors, styles and baby products I use. She reacted okay, but since then she's ignored my requests and continues to buy things saying she'll keep them for the baby at her house. Here's the thing, her and her husband smoke heavily in the house. Me and my husband are not comfortable with the baby being in the house whilst this is happening. My husband is yet to have that conversation with her because he's worried about upsetting her. Secondly, I don't want my baby having overnight stay at anyone's house, even my own mother's house, for at least a year. I am getting extremely overwhelmed with how much she thinks she will be taking care of my first baby. I don't know how to bring it up because my husband doesn't know how to set boundaries with her. I don't want to fall out with him or her, but I also need her to understand that this is my baby, not hers. How do I go about this? Has anyone else been in a similar situation? You can tell her straight up, I can't tell you how to spend your money or what to spend your money on, but you need to know that I will be choosing my child's clothing and baby will not be spending any significant time at your house due to your smoking. This is not up for discussion. Feel free to leave out the word significant. She is going to be upset, she is going to react. How she reacts will determine her future relationship with your child. Your spouse needs to be on the same page, or you're going to have husband problems too. The smoking means the child should never even be in their house, so unsafe. I feel the same. It's worrying that she's buying all this baby stuff and smoking in the house, expecting the baby to be in the house. It's bizarre. If they smoke inside the house, I'm worried that all the baby clothes she has to put your baby in will reek like cigarettes. Oh, they will stink to high heaven, have no doubt about it. All clothes my mother ever gave my children stank of cigarette smoke. I absolutely hated it. I had to launder them 2 to 3 times each to get out the stench. Your husband needs to set boundaries. I am so sorry you have to deal with your MIL. She stole his first Father's Day. My mother-in-law bought my husband a Father's Day card from my dog. Yes, you read that right, an MY baby bump. She gave him the cards and gift a day early and feel like she has beaten me to it. Surely I should be buying his first Father's Day card and gift from MY baby. I am so upset and he doesn't see anything wrong with it. Should I be upset? I'm so confused. I wouldn't get mad, I'd laugh. How pathetic and sad is your MIL? She has to steal a moment from your family before your kids are even born. Next year you can give him his actual first Father's Day card, with cute little handprints from baby, and take him to a nice dinner or picnic at the park, without including your MIL. Your DH probably doesn't see an issue with it because he probably just pities her or doesn't care. No, she's annoying at best, but you and DH have Father's Day to yourself. If I give you a birthday card early, does it detract from the actual day? No, I'm an internet stranger. Why give her actions any more weight? She's living rent-free in your head. Her actions mean little or nothing to you and DH. Yeah, I think in this case, who is first doesn't really matter because obviously a card from OP is going to mean more to DH than a card from MIL. Cards are just casual thinking of you type things anyway. It doesn't take over or ruin his first Father's Day. I'm not saying you can't feel upset about it anyway, OP, but maybe try to take a deep breath and examine the situation again. Continue with your plans and don't let the MIL situation become an issue for you and DH. Your DH may consider his mother's gesture sweet, but it won't ever have the same significance as a gesture from the mother of his child. You are carrying the being which will forever bond you. You already gave him his first Father's Day. On a related note, congratulations. Best wishes. Looking for no argument in this comment, as I can see everyone has different opinions on it. I'm 6.5 months pregnant and my so got me a Mother's Day card from him, knowing that it's not my first actual Mother's Day, but just as a sweet gesture for carrying and growing our child. I did the same for him today, just as a sweet gesture for being so supportive during a rough pregnancy. However, if his mother bought him a card herself and gave it to him before I could, I'd be pissed. I saw your other comment about the nursery in her home. I went through the same issue. You have a right to be upset if it bothers you. You shouldn't feel like you're in a competition with your MIL over things like this. Mine did the same. And yes, it burned the hell out of me too. Always wanted to have the firsts. I remember when I bought my daughter a doll for Christmas, MIL was all oh, but I wanted to buy her first Barbie. Oh, for the love of. I cancelled my baby shower that MIL was organizing. I decided to cancel my baby shower. I was never fussed about having one anyway, I have never liked to fuss. I decided to cancel because I found out my overbearing MIL had invited 10 plus of her friends before I had gotten together a list of people from my side of the family and friends. My FIL is also a big drinkers and smokers and he has lots of friends who spend their days in the pub. I found out they were also invited. I always thought baby showers were for women and her friends. Anyway, I cancelled it so she didn't get the opportunity to make the day about herself as it was already looking that way. Half of her friends I don't even know, and if I was organizing it, I wouldn't have invited. The whole idea was pushed on me anyway. I always expressed I wasn't bothered about having one, but she insisted and I gave in for a short while. I just couldn't stand the idea of people giving their unsolicited advice, being the center of attention, people grabbing my bump, gifting a bunch of stuff that isn't on my inventory and feeling as I have to entertain a bunch of her friends for the day. I gave her the excuse that I am finding my pregnancy difficult and I don't want to fuss. I also told her a couple of my closest have already organized to take me for a meal which I was more comfortable with. She contacted my DH behind my back to ask why. Apparently my reasons wasn't enough. He told her by his own admission that she got carried away inviting all her own and his stepdad's friends and that it was inappropriate. I am really proud of him for this and feel like we're finally getting somewhere as a couple and setting boundaries. Think about how you want to respond if you walk into a surprise shower. Make sure DH knows how you feel. Are you insane? We already said no. Why would you think this is okay? And then just turn around and leave. Maybe I'm too blunt, but that was the plan if my mom tried to pull that. I once attended a baby shower for a friend thrown by her MIL. I was the only one there for my friend. None of her sisters, nor her mom were invited, as far as I know. It was basically a day for her MIL to show off the incubator. I was so uncomfortable, especially since most of those ladies barely knew my friend. Almost 30 years later, and I still remember how much I hated that for my friend. I wouldn't attend my own baby shower in this situation. Let MIL explain to her friends why the guest of honor didn't show. The only person you haven't met yet at a baby shower should be the baby. The only person doing the inviting should be you. 20 Internet Bucks says that she still holds it as a grandma shower for her and FIL's friends. I will never understand these MILs who make the baby shower all about them. They are so desperate for attention that it's ridiculous. Glad your husband stood up for you. MIL asked to send photos of my son to a stanger. My son is 2 weeks old. We received gifts from her and FIL friends who I've never met. She asked me to send them pictures of my son to forward to them to say thank you for the gifts. I already sent thank you cards via my DH, but she wanted photos. Quote, it's only right as they don't know you but still sent you gifts. I told her no, as I have never met them and I do not share photos of my son on social media either. I send them privately to family members and that's all. Am I wrong for refusing? She insinuated to my DH that I was ungrateful. If I knew the gifts came with a clause, I wouldn't have accepted. DH says I don't have to do anything I'm uncomfortable with and agreed it was a weird request considering we have never met or seen these people. So, Aita? You sent a thank you note which is acknowledging the gift and respecting the giver. If she wants to show her friend a picture, she can show them when they see them. There is never a reason someone you don't know need to be sent a picture of your child. Yes, it's probably a generational thing, but it doesn't matter. No one is entitled to pictures of your baby. And maybe I'm going too far, but if you don't nip transactional demands in the bud now, then soon enough she'll be saying your child is rude for not hugging her when she gave a present. You're on step 1 of the kid defending boundaries ladder, she'll have to get used to it. I wouldn't say you're being unreasonable, but I feel like this is a generational thing. I received gifts from my mom's and Emil's friends when I had my babies. I didn't know some of them personally. I just knew that both grandmothers were very excited and their friends were excited for them. Picking out baby clothes is something that brought these retirees joy. My mom and her friends are big on thank you notes as well. Don't send a picture if you aren't into it. I had birth announcement cards made up when my son was born and that's what I sent for a thank you. Just sharing what I did. I will agree that it seemed weird at the time that people who were unknown to me were sending gifts. My kids are adolescents now and I'm unbothered by it. Even though my MIL is a beast. Why are they sending gifts to people they never met? I remember one story about how a dad sent stock photos of a different baby. I love that one. MIL chose cigarettes over having her grandson visit her home. Is this a reasonable response? I need your help, guys. Backstory is my MIL smokes in her home kitchen. We asked her when I was pregnant if she would like our son to visit. She needs to quit smoking in her home and deep clean, even then it isn't safe. This came up because she's starting talking about how she is excited to have him overnight, and I even had to stop her building a nursery in her spare room. She and FIL have smoked in the house for the last 12 years. It was even her idea to replace rugs, curtains, and repaint. Fast forward and my son is 6 weeks now. She messaged saying me and Elo could visit now as the house is safe because she only smokes in the conservatory. I explained how that is still smoking indoors and how dangerous that is for a newborn and that I can't allow him in her home whilst it's still happening. She replied, you have to understand that going outside to smoke is a huge lifestyle change for us and not something we are considering, us as in her and FAL. My reply was, I have to put my son first over smoking indoors. Like what? One more step outside is too much to have him over in the future? I am flabbergasted. So is upset and feels let down by them. Understandably. I'm upset for my son as some of my fondest memories of my childhood was spent at my grandparents' house. But it's her loss. She chose cigarettes indoors. I know the UK is cold, but come on. My own mother smoked for 15 years, not in the home, and quit instantly for her first grandchild. We didn't ask MIL to quit her horrid habit, just take it outside. Edit, I did not ask her to redecorate, that was her idea and she keeps messaging me to come over telling me her house is safe when it isn't, then when I say no she argues with me and says that's my opinion. Second/third-hand smoke being dangerous is not an opinion, it's facts. I said if you want him over in the future, far future, take it outside. I smoked myself from age 17 to 27, I am 30 now, cold turkey for my niece and nephew who I babysit frequently, so I understand the addiction. I didn't realize this group was full of people name calling and jumping to conclusions. That's her choice and that's okay. It's an addiction for starters, and disappointing they won't stop for the baby, but ultimately they're adults in their own home and have decided this. It is a reasonable response to me, it's their house. What would be unreasonable is throwing a fit or having a tantrum because you won't bring the baby to their house. They get to prioritize smoking inside, you get to prioritize baby's safety. Unfortunate, but true. And of course it would be healthier if they stopped. It's hard to describe how addictive, physically and mentally, cigarettes are. But hopefully they'll eventually quit. I totally understand setting the boundary of not bringing your son over when they're indoor smokers, but you can't expect someone to essentially remodel their house for you. They don't have to do that, and there shouldn't be an expectation for it. Your kid just doesn't go over there. I don't see a problem with them not changing their lifestyle, so long as they don't make a case out of baby not coming to their house. It may seem selfish, but it's their life and they can live it as they choose, but I would definitely make it a hill to die on. No matter how Mill tries to guilt trip or minimize the dangers, even if she gets your so to try to cave in, the answer would still be no. 12 years? You'd have to burn the house down and rebuild to make it safe from smoke. I don't see the issue. I'd never willingly want to go visit a smoker's home. I wasn't raised around smoke, so my lungs and nose can't take it. I think it is unreasonable to expect them to stop. They smoke and it's their house. They shouldn't have to stop. Make visits at your home and explain why, and be happy you don't have to go over there. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.